Good day everyone, this is Jai Khan from our University channel, and as you can see, today I am here at the Lalbagh Fort, which is one of the most ancient and old part of the Dhaka city. And if you look at the history of Dhaka city, it's one of the earliest buildings ever built in the old city. And you could see that only a few remnants of this old fort is now existing. As you can see behind me, this is the old wall of Lalbagh Fort. If you look carefully, then you will understand that this wall is quite tall. I mean, if you look carefully, it is around 3 to 4 floors high, which is around 30 to 40 foot. It was made of this tremendous height because for the protection of this for the inside part of this fort. Now I'm walking and I'm showing you some other parts of it. There is a conduit there, the water flowing system, which is stressed towards the mosque there in the front. And now I'm walking and showing you the other parts of this fort, which will give you a clear understanding about the structure which has been erected in this fort. So after showing you the wall, now I'm walking towards the tomb of Bibi Puri. The tomb of Bibi Puri is the grave site where the daughter of Shayesta Khan is buried. She is buried there, and there are some other grave sites as well. I've seen one of the grave sites called the grave of Shamshad Banu. Let me sit here and tell you some stories about this place. This place was one of the earliest buildings in the Dhaka city. As you probably know, that Dhaka city was established originally as Jahangirnagar at 1610 after Islam Khan defeated Musa Khan in the Battle of Dhaka. Okay, and then he established this city called Jahangirnagar. In this Jahangirnagar, there are only a few old buildings left. For example, I could tell you about this tremendous and gigantic structure called Lalbagh Fort. There are some other structures like Boro Katra, Choto Katras, and those structures are now almost destroyed. So we don't have too many remnants of those buildings. Now, if I walk a little bit further more, then I will be able to show you some other parts of the city. From this place, you could clearly see the tomb of Bibi Puri, which is a very spectacular sight. It kind of resembles Taj Mahal. If you look carefully at the Taj Mahal, you will see that it is a square-shaped building. The tomb of Bibi Puri is also a square-shaped building, but it doesn't have the type of sumptuousness or the luxury that you might have seen in what you might call Taj Mahal. So it's a kind of like a small Taj Mahal here, and at the center of this structure there is a grave of Bibi Puri, and there are some other grave sites as well. Okay, so this is the tomb of Bibi Puri, and if you look carefully down at the other side of the fort, there is a building. It is called the Darbar Hall. So it's actually a building where Shayesta Khan used to sit for his office works, and there are several. It is a 2-floor building. At the lower end of this building, you could see that there is a bath place or hammam khana, and at the above side, you could see that the office building is on that place, and there are some significant development which has been done after maybe some donations from US aid or some sort of international organizations. So these are the 3 primary buildings of Lalbagh Killa. Let me show you them one by one. First, we have the Darbar Hall. Second, we have the tomb or mausoleum of Bibi Puri. And third, we have the building which is a mosque. So these are the 3 structure which this fort is consisted of. If you look carefully, then you would also see some primitive gardens here. You see? So these are remnants of an old garden which existed from the very past. And this structures were recently discovered by the excavator, who did some excavations here. And most of the tunnels, if you don't know that there are numerous tunnels on these forts, and most of them at this very moment now being destroyed, but they're kind of closed. You cannot get into those tunnels anymore, so you could say that most of them are destroyed. But in overall sense, if you look carefully at this fort, you will see that this fort is quite spectacular to see, and it's probably the most important archaeological sites in the entire country. I mean, Bangladesh doesn't have too many archaeological structures of this tremendous and spectacular size. I'm now back at the wall side of this portion, and I could show you some other parts. If you look carefully, the entire fort is surrounded by a very high wall. One of the inherent desires of man is security. So for that reason, even the ancient peoples, if you look carefully at all the forts of Indian subcontinent, you will see that they're kind of surrounded by a tremendous sized wall. And this wall is primarily developed for the purpose of protection of the people inside of this fort. If I tell you about the other parts, if you look at the Darbar Hall, which is located over there, there is also a pond there beside that Darbar Hall, is because of the water requirements of this fortification. Now, why was this structure erected? If you look carefully, this structure was primarily erected, Lalbagh Fort was established here primarily because for the purpose of protecting this city called Jahangirnagar or Dhaka. So for that reason, this structure was erected. At that time, at 1610 or 1670s, there was a huge deal of crisis of what you might call pillages. There were robbers and muggers, especially from Portuguese origins, and they used to rob the common citizens and common people. So which was a very devastating thing at that time. So for that reason, and even the people who were opposed to the Mughal rule, in order to subjugate them, this fort was necessary. So this fort was primarily erected for the protection of this city called Dhaka, and for the secondary purpose of protecting the Mughal power here, and for the security of the people of the Mughal Empire, and for the purpose of what you might call ensuring the legal aspects of life. The system of your legal issues has to be properly maintained. If there is an environment where there is no rule of law, the people cannot sustain, people cannot live properly. So for that reason, this fort was developed, and there has been at least 3 revolts or mutinies here, 3 coups here has been occurred in different times of history. And one of the important coups was against the British. This structure was erected here in 1678, and after that there was an issue called what you might call transformation of power from the Mughal to British at 1757, and after that period there was a revolt in 1857, which is called the Sepoy Revolt. The Sepoy Revolt was the incident where the Sepoys or the soldiers of this fort were of the Bangladeshi or Indian origin. They kind of revolted against the British. So this revolution or this mutiny took place here in this fort. At this very moment, this fort is kind of at ruins. If you look carefully at the front, there are some ruins parts which are being in ruin, and also some parts has been reconstructed, and in general it is in a dilapidated state. One of the things you probably don't know about Lalbagh Fort is that this enormous structure is an incomplete structure. That means the Mughal were not able to erect this structure completely. So and you probably don't know that maybe because of the death of the daughter of Shaista Khan, this entire structure was left behind, and the Mughal rulers tend to leave this place, and they stop the development of these fortifications here at Dhaka. So I find it's a very important and historical place, and it's one of the most beautiful places as well. If you look at the decorations of the tomb or mausoleum of Bibi Puri, that would be of much interest to you. But even the walls of this fort is very well decorated. I believe that if you come here, it will be a very enjoyable experience for you if you come here with your family members, you know, and with the person that are important for you, you know, and it will be a very spectacular sight to see. So from the Lalbagh Fort area, this is Joy Khan from our University channel. Take care.